Hey creative friends, welcome to my channel, and in this video I am making the cube steak that I took out and did the video on Sunday of the No Buying Meat Freezer Challenge. So I'm doing the cube steak because I've already got mashed potatoes made. They're in the oven staying warm. But I'm going to make a mushroom gravy, and I'm going to use the mushrooms that I canned in beef broth. This ought to make it so good. But I'm heating up my electric skillet. Normally I would do these in a cast iron skillet, but it's just easier to show you guys. And so what I've got, while that's getting hot, let me test it and see. No, it still has to go. I've got 1 egg. Now I put like 1 egg for a couple of these. If you're going to do a bunch of them, you'll want to increase the egg. With a little bit of milk in it. And I've mixed that up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these cube steaks that I have seasoned already with salt and pepper, and I'm going to put those in the egg, and then I've got some seasoned flour here. And you can season it. In fact, I probably need more pepper in here. But it's got a little bit of Tony's. I've got some, you can put some seasoned salt. I don't have that, but I've got Tony's in there, which will make it awesome. And then seasoned salt would be fine. You could put a little paprika, which I might just go ahead and add a little paprika. Hang on, let me do that. I'll be right back. Here it is. That just seems so good. It sounded good, and I realized I forgot paprika. So I'm going to put a little paprika in there, and you could season it however you want to season it. If you like it real seasoned, or if you just like it plain. This is super simple, and it's going to be real quick, and that's why I made the mashed potatoes and put them in the oven, was because what I want to do is these are just going to cook for about 2.5 minutes on each side. Then I'm going to put those in the oven to stay warm while I make the gravy. So I'm going to let this heat up, and I'll bring you back as soon as I'm ready to put these in the pan. Okay, now that oil is hot enough in the pan, so now I'm just going to take this cube steak. I'm going to put it here in this egg and milk mixture, and I kind of like to turn it a couple of times to get it out in between those cuts, on that tenderizing cuts that are in there, because it helps hold on the flour coating even better. Now, so good. Now I did my mashed potatoes, and I did little potatoes, so I actually didn't take the peels off. I like mashed potatoes that have a little peel in them. Some people don't, but I do, so I did that. Now, get that a really good coating, and sometimes you could even double dunk it. I might do that, just to give me an extra crispy coating on this meat. So good. Then as soon as this is done, I'm going to put this in the pan and let it cook like 2.5 minutes on each side. And then I've got a little pan out here to keep it in the oven. Alright, there's one. Let me get this in here. And then I'm going to use the flour, the seasoned flour that I have here, to make the gravy. That's going to be extra yummy. Alright, so I want to keep a little bit of flour in there. There will be plenty, though. I'm sure of it. And then I'm just kind of eyeballing this to be a couple minutes on each side. And I used to always overcook these because I felt like, oh, they needed to be really, you know, cooked good. And so I used to have a problem with overcooking meat. But I got over that. Especially on the barbecue or frying it. I used to overcook things when I fried it. Now I realize they don't need to go as long as I think they do. Okay, there we go. Alright, now I'm going to put this one in, and by this time, the first one will be ready to turn over. So good. Okay. Now when I make the gravy, I'm actually going to put a little tiny dollop of some butter in there, also, because it just helps make it perfect. Give that a couple seconds. Alright, now I'm going to let these go for a couple seconds, and I'll bring you back as soon as they're ready to turn. Okay, I realized I need to move my pan over so you can see it a little bit better. Oh yeah, that's going to have a great coating on it. Now that one's going to go, and I'm going to get a little pan. I actually have this one. It's an old, my old hot air fryer pan, and I like it because it's got the holes and it helps heat come up there so these don't get soggy, which makes them so yummy. I like that little bit of crispy. So when these are both looking like this one, I'm going to take them out, and then I'm going to get rid of some of this grease, and I'll come back and show you how I make the gravy. All right, I've cooked those, and now I have drained off a little bit of the grease. I'm going to put in some butter, and then I'm going to try to break those apart. Come on, little butter. I cut a couple of pats of butter, and I need to, there we are. Break them apart a little bit. There we go. And now, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the flour, and I'm going to use the broth to start the gravy, and then I will add in some milk to thicken it up, but I want to make sure I get all those little bits right there from the steak because it's awesome. Okay, I'm going to turn this up. Need to turn this up a little bit. There we go. And I want this to turn, that's probably too much flour, but we'll get over it. Anyway, I want this to turn kind of a pretty brown color and thicken up. And this is all you do to make good gravy. Now I'm going to let this go a couple of minutes until, see how it's all bubbly and nice? So I'm going to let this go a couple of minutes, and then I'm going to add in the broth. Okay, now I'm going to add in, I already opened my mushrooms, and I'm just going to kind of mix this around. Actually smells really good. The mushroomy beefy broth, so good. Now I'm going to add in some milk. I'm going to scoot all this to the center here. Start adding in a little bit of milk. There we go. Keep doing this. I'm going to turn it down a little bit. Now I'm going to keep doing this until it's all like a gravy consistency. I'll probably have to add milk a couple or 3 more times because I had so much flour in there. But it will be fine. I promise. Then I'm going to have corn. I was thinking green beans, but frankly I don't want to have to go down the freezer, and I had corn in my freezer up here in the kitchen. So we're going to have corn and mashed potatoes and this mushroom gravy with cube steak. So let me finish up this gravy. Okay, there we go. I added about probably a cup of milk. I'm going to turn this down, and now I'm going to put my mushrooms in there, and I'm going to let those heat up while I dish everything up, and then this will be ready to put on top of the mashed potatoes and the cube steaks, or the chicken fried steaks. So I'll be back as soon as I get everything on the plates, and this is going to be so super yummy. All right, I've got it all dished up, and there you have, I had some corn and carrots in my freezer, so I put them together. I put a little of the vegetable seasoning on them and butter and let them cook, and there's the steak and the mashed potatoes with that mushroom gravy, and I got to tell you, the mushroom gravy is amazing. I'll do a little taste test here. Let me just tell you. Just so that you know, I'm going to try this. Look at that. I'm going to try that. It's so good. It is really good. I think that beef flavor, that beef broth in the mushrooms adds a lot of flavor. So, there you have it. I hope you give this kind of thing a try. If you do, let me know how you like it. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.